What's the quickest way you've lost weight? Story 1. Worked long hours, almost no breaks, so barely ate, and had to run a lot. Not saying it was a healthy way to do it, but I dropped pounds like there was no tomorrow. Story 2. When you're hungry, grab an apple or any fruit. If you don't want that fruit, drink some water. You're not hungry, you're bored. But also saw heartbreak that also works very well. Story 3. The month after my ex-husband moved out, I dropped about 25 pounds. 2 reasons. 1. I was no longer engaging in his terrible eating habits, including having to hide any treats I bought myself, because to leave a treat in the pantry for more than a day means it's fair game. Even if I said, hey, I bought this for myself for a little treat when I'm having a hard day, can you please leave me at least a serving, because it's mean, controlling, and too tempting if I don't eat it fast enough too. I wasn't sad all the time anymore. Story 4. I genuinely was curious to see how people lost weight, and I've seen some comments on here regarding health and relationships and other personal issues. I'm sorry if anyone has had to go through any life-changing mentally pain to lose weight. My inbox is open if anyone needs a chat. Story 5. Weight loss contest at work that paid out 4 weeks' pay. Gradually cut out meals until I was eating twice a week the last 4 weeks of the contest. Went from 294 to 229 in about 4 months. Story 6. The fastest I ever lost weight. I went from 250 pounds to 225 pounds in 4 weeks. I'm 62. I didn't go keto, but I limited simple carbohydrates, sugar, potatoes, rice, bread, pasta, ate in a calorie deficit. That is absolutely necessary. It doesn't have to be a huge deficit, but it needs to be consistent. When you first start the deficit, the body doesn't go straight to burning fat. First you'll have to go through your glycogen stores, stored sugars in your muscles. Then the body burns fat. Basically I alternated days between HIIT and circuit-style weight training. HIIT, or high-intensity interval training, if you don't know, is basically maximum effort for a minute, then rest a minute. You can do it with running, burpees, whatever you can max out doing. Cycle this maybe 8 to 10 times, so the whole HIIT routine only takes 15 to 20 minutes, for the weight training. Not too heavy, not much point with reduced carbs and caloric deficit. Just basically I cycled through everything once, 1 or 2 cycles through of each set to fail your chest press, lats, biceps, triceps, shoulders, leg press, ham curls, calves, whatever you want. Really the whole thing should take an hour at most. The HIIT increases metabolism and the effect lasts a couple days on average. Very effective for weight loss. Also be sure to get a solid 7 to 8 hours sleep every night. Long cardio hours of running etc. are not actually effective for weight loss, I found. Better to try to just get a lot of walking in to supplement the exercise. I'm no doctor. Some people may disagree with some things here, but it's what I did and it felt like a healthy way to do it. Story 7. Watched my mother die and then dealt with the aftermath of making funeral arrangements and dealing with sibling squabbles. Or cancer. Had both. I think I prefer the cancer. Story 8. I lost about 80 pounds in 90 days by reducing my daily calories to 1,000. I know it's not the healthiest way to do it, but I have kept the weight off for 12 years now and have never felt better. Story 9. What everyone else is saying, I started chewing my food more and eating slower, and it's helped me get full quicker, so I eat less and have better digestion. Story 10. Got 3 wisdom teeth removed in a month. I could barely open my mouth and lived off of pudding and baby food, and prior to that, had some work done on another tooth. Story 11. 62 male, 31 years old to 226 pounds on January 1st, dropped to 1800 calories per day, focusing to get 150-180 g protein per day, lift cardio 3x a week, currently have abs at 196. Story 12. I fast for a few days, drink only and plenty of water. Dehydration impairs the body's ability to break down fat for fuel. I do this every week and I've realized I very rarely feel actual hunger. Story 13. I quit drinking alcohol and any sugar sodas, went cold turkey with both, went from 230 at my biggest to 147. I'm a 5'10" dude, those empty calories are really a lot. Story 14. Developed ulcers lining my esophagus due to a medication, didn't eat or drink for days, lost 25 pounds in a weekend, later tonsillectomy as an adult. Recovery wasn't terribly difficult, but I lost my taste and didn't have an appetite due to it. After that, move more, eat less, took up running, ate smaller portions, lost 90 pounds. Not the absolute quickest, but the most permanent, have maintained my loss, and working on breaking through my recent stagnation. The divorce diet is also very effective for quick loss. Story 15. Becoming unemployed and using food stamps. I had to be regimented with my spending. I no longer got free snacks from people's desks at work, and going to bars was fiscally irresponsible. Story 16. Depends on your physical activity. If you aren't moving around much, aim for around 1500 to 1700 calories each day. Look at the labels on food and drinks and learn how to understand them. Plenty of help online. Listen to your body. Second most powerful tool is intermittent fasting. It teaches your body to eat less and feel satisfied. At the moment my eating window is 6 hours, and for the rest of the 18 hours in the day I don't eat. I'm losing weight rapidly. Also don't snack. Stop that immediately. Drink water, treat yourself, but don't go over your calorie goal. Story 17. Caught a stomach parasite in Mexico. I was shitting pure liquid for a couple weeks and lost all interest in food. Every so often I was like, I don't feel hungry at all, but I know my body probably needs calories, nutrients, so I guess I should put something in my stomach. I'm told this is similar to how Ozempic feels. minus the shits. Story 18 used a calorie tracking app, was honest, kept it at 1,500 kilocalories per day. At the same time I hit the gym with 10 minutes of cardio as warm-up, 40 minutes of strength training and 15 minutes of cardio at the end. Anything above that 1,500 calories and it became way harder to lose that weight. Also after becoming fit it became impossible to lose more weight no matter what. Nowadays I have gained some weight but I don't have the discipline, I once had to cut it again. Story 19 Cutting weight for wrestling. ID were the following during a 2-5-hour practice that involved drills, live wrestling, and lots of running legs, long johns, gym shorts, sweatpants, upper body long johns, long sleeve shirt, sweatshirt. Then if I still needed to lose weight, I'd bundle up like I was going into a snowstorm and run on the treadmill after practice. All of this while also barely eating or drinking. 0-10. Do not recommend. Story 20 Eating vegan a few years back. If you're doing it right, you're eating a lot of veggies and fruits that are very filling and give you a lot of energy. Just gotta find where you get protein from. It worked for me because I was very strict though. Story 21 Quickest grief. I'm normally a comfort eater but couldn't stomach anything for a few weeks after my mum passed. Most effective. Healthy eating plus exercise. Least effective. Food poisoning. Swear I only lost a couple of ounces even though all I managed was a little stewed apple and a couple of boiled eggs in 5 days. Story 22 I simply cut out all late night junk food and junk food as a whole. No Cheetos, chocolate, anything high in sugars and turned to wraps, chicken breasts, salads and yogurt. Lost 32 pounds since the new year. Story 23 Eating my big meal at lunch and snacking at dinner. Lost 40 pounds in about 6 months, Ozempic 30 pounds in 3 months. I'm diabetic and needed something, but I was unbelievably nauseous from Ozempic. I didn't even want to drink water. Not a healthy way to lose weight. Story 24 Non-healthy way. Having a medical emergency and not being able to eat or drink for a week. All liquids nutrients I needed was through a drip. It was crazy how much weight I lost. Healthier way was intermittent fasting. Only eating from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. You shed weight doing this as long as you're not still having a calorie surplus during that 6-hour window. Story 25 Increase my cardio routine, now doing 4x 25-minute workouts. Obviously not all one right after the other. I have a huge advantage having my own home gym, so we'll do a cardio workout on my step climber in the morning, stationary bike in afternoon and then possibly the treadmill after lunch and then another 25 minutes on the bike after dinner. Story 26 Not calorie deficit, but starting exercise and getting the newbie gains. I didn't really lose as much weight but my physical figure looked better, which is what most of us really mean by lose weight. Story 27 Eating less and working out more. You'll go down to 1 to 2 meals a day and drop 10 in a week. It's pretty easy if you really practice self-control and keep exercising, and no, it has nothing to do with my metabolism. I can also gain 100 pounds in 3 weeks. I've done that too. The only hard part of your mental self-control of keeping it going. Keep telling yourself once you get there you will be so happy and into working out it'll feel like nothing anymore. Then you just be working out a few times a month to keep in shape. If you keep eating right you don't need pills, special fad diets, or to only eat one thing. Just eat less and work out for months and I promise your life will be 1000x better in a year. My favorite thing was a big fruit smoothie in the morning to cut those morning cravings and then I'd have a fat protein burrito around 2 p.m., maybe a sandwich or snack for dinner. You don't want to eat a giant dinner before bed. Your body doesn't digest fast when you're sleeping, it requires activity. Does me wonders just sticking to a healthy meal or two, you will not get healthy or fit fast without diet and exercise. Dieting meaning just eat way less, stop snacking and have a water. Once you do this for a week or two you'll see your stomach is much less hungry than it used to be because you're not teaching it to need the amount of food you've practiced. You will literally start craving less once you get through the first hump, hit the treadmill and meal prep. Please just make exercise one priority, even just 2 to 3 runs a week is enough. You don't need to bust it every day, but if you want more progress faster, extreme workouts in the first few months do help a ton. You got this, go buddy. Story 28 Intermittent fasting. I'd be on a caloric deficit diet long term, but have a day or two per week where I try not to eat anything the whole day. I'd always cave and eat something, but those sub 500 calorie days made a huge impact. On the days I'd eat, I'd be sure to eat nutrient-rich foods and OFC take a multivitamin. Story 29 I stopped eating Monday through Friday until I was home from work, then allowed myself to eat whatever I wanted. Also ate whatever on the weekends. Didn't really sit at work either. Story 30 Moved to a new city to start a new job and was completely on my own. I was feeling non-stop anxiety which ruins my appetite. Didn't eat food for days. Forced myself to down the occasional Nutri-Shake style thing just to keep going. The pounds just flew away. I don't recommend it though. Story 31 I lost my job, my dad died, my partner and I split, I had to move, and my brother went into a schizophrenic psychosis. It all happened within 9 months and I lost around 60 pounds. It was pretty brutal. Story 32 Counting calories. Set a number of calories to eat a day and then stick to it as close you can. Mine was 1600. Walking every day also helped, but the diet is something you can actually do every day. Rain of shine. Also set a secondary number, so it's more of a range. Like I set mine for 1600, but obviously I was okay if I ate like 1633 calories, or 1700. The highest number I tried to stay under was 2000. Story 33 Bariatric surgery, but it required being morbidly obese and trying lifestyle changes and medication first. And although it's been successful, this year has been hardest thing I've ever done, and I had 2 kids at home sans meds. Story 34 On purpose low-calorie diet and high-impact exercise. Not on purpose breastfeeding a 9-month-old with chickenpox. The kid couldn't eat anything else and was permanently attached to me for nearly a week. Not sure how much weight I lost, but my clothes were hanging off me. Story 35 Every other day fasting is the only reliable way I found to manage my weight. Try to remind yourself that we are still genetically related to ancient humans who sometimes went a day or two just wandering to more fertile lands in search of food. People who call you crazy for fasting are actually just brainwashed by the industrial food complex to believe that we'll die without 3 square meals a day. When you stop ingesting for enough time, your body takes the energy it was using for digestion and spends it on cleaning itself out. It's really just willpower. Story 36 For me, it's not having stuff in the house that tempts me. If I am craving ice cream, I will go out and get an ice cream, but I won't keep a gallon in my house. Story 37 Spent a month in the hospital after having a stroke and they found 4 other blood clots, 1 in each leg, 1 in my gut and 1 in my heart. Nearly lost my left foot because of it, but thankfully I didn't lose that much weight. Story 38 My freshman year of college my meal swipes stopped working, and I thought it was because we didn't pay anything towards my tuition. I later found out this was not the case, and they would not starve students during semester if they didn't make a payment, and I ended up losing like 40 IBS because I was only eating when my friends would sneak me food. Something like entire days or a day between meals, all because I was too stubborn to tell my mom. Story 39 Hyperthyroidism. I didn't even notice until everyone at my grandpa's funeral kept saying how I lost so much weight and how good I look. Also what is wrong with people. Stepped on a scale, saw that I lost 5 to 8 kilograms, booked an appointment with my doctor immediately. Story 40 Not recommended, but when I was 24 I was in the U.S. Air Force, stationed in England and newly divorced. For the better part of a year I ate about 1 meal a day, usually a BLT and fries at the base bowling alley around 5 in the evening, then drank myself stupid almost every night at the NCO club. That was during my last tour of duty, and by the time I got out I was, for the first time in my life, at what the USAF considered my ideal weight. I was also in remarkably good shape, but as I said, it's not a recommended weight loss regimen, lol. Story 41 Divorce with a healthy side of child support, alimony, and all the bills between being broke AF and stress. I was dropping fat like you could not believe. Story 42 Had a really bad case of the flu a number of years ago. It lasted about 2 weeks, and between the chills, sweats, and complete loss of appetite, I lost about 15 pounds. Appetite didn't come back for about 6 months and I lost another 15 pounds over that time period. Story 43 Getting the shits for a week on vacation to a third world country. Couldn't eat, couldn't drink, and everything was projectile diarrhea and vomit. 2 kilograms in 7 days. Story 44 Moving from state of a nearly 35 obesity rate and 0 health culture to a city with a 22 obesity rate full of people that do not sit down. Then, discover bulk Hot Pockets are way pricier than peanut butter and apples. Give up car and driving BC no EW. Not doing that anymore. Walk everywhere and to errands. 70 pounds drop. 6 to 7 months. Story 45 Pancreatitis. My pancreas turned into a cyst which squashed my stomach so I couldn't eat. Comes with constant nausea and infections, to the point where I had to be tube fed and have a PICC line. Do not recommend.